Have you ever wondered what is the essence of a truly harmonious relationship? What becomes their cornerstone? Trust, respect, emotional balance, or the ability to notice signs that indicate the need for decisive action? In this reflection, we will explore not only the basic elements of healthy interaction, but also focus on those signs that will tell you when to put your well-being in the foreground. These guidelines will help you realize when a relationship loses its support and begins to harm your inner world. Stay with us to learn how to defend your dignity and form connections that will support your well-being for many years to come. A detrimental effect on the state of mind is the first of these signs. If you constantly feel anxiety, sadness, or inner discord in a relationship, it can destroy the fragile harmony that everyone aspires to. Moreover, such connections can make it difficult to think clearly and move away from a life filled with virtue. Stoicism reminds us that maintaining inner peace is the greatest virtue, and it teaches us to accept adversity, loss, and even resentment as an integral part of life. Through overcoming these trials, the true vocation is revealed. This path does not promise ease, but it offers practices that strengthen our balance even in difficult times. Harmful connections are manifested not only through mental experiences, but also in physical signals: loss of strength, sleep disorders, or digestive disorders. Such signs indicate that the dynamics of a relationship are destroying your well-being and require rethinking. The first step is to protect mental health, which may require difficult decisions, from limiting communication to completely severing ties with those who bring pain. This is not just an act of self-care, but an affirmation of the right to an environment conducive to your growth. Freed from the destructive influence, we not only protect our minds, but also learn to live more consciously, following the path of virtue. Seeking support from friends, family, or professionals can be an important part of restoring inner harmony. By strengthening relationships that inspire and empower, we confirm our commitment to the peace of the soul and virtue, because it is in them that a truly fulfilling life is rooted. A constant lack of respect. Respect is not a superficial form of courtesy, but the cornerstone of any decent union. If you are regularly humiliated or your dignity is neglected, it is worth considering. Is this not a harbinger of destructive changes? Distance in such cases is not a weakness, but a manifestation of inner strength and self-respect. This step allows you to rethink your own principles, reassert your values, and declare your inviolability. Clear boundaries set with respect become the basis for creating a relationship where mutual honor reigns. Where there is respect, a person finds the ground for growth, spiritual renewal, and harmony. Realizing how important this quality is, we give ourselves the opportunity to reevaluate our surroundings and deepen our connections with those who really appreciate us. At the same time, it is a reminder of the importance of respect not only in relationships, but also in everyone's life. Its absence can destroy both individuals and entire societies. The beginning of a brighter and healthier relationship lies in the realization of this truth. Mismatch of values, the coincidence of life principles, is a connecting thread that strengthens the closeness between people. When our beliefs based on ethics and personal ideals collide with the principles of another person, it creates not only disagreements, but also deep mental anguish. Such conflicts undermine our sense of identity, making us doubt what we consider to be true and fair. Constant confrontation with opposing values can disrupt inner harmony, threatening your integrity as a person. It is like traveling in an unfamiliar area without a sure guide. Every action is accompanied by doubt. Every decision seems false, and confidence in one's own beliefs begins to fade. Seneca taught us to ask the question, does what we do contribute to our well-being or, on the contrary, harm it? Constant inconsistency of principles and beliefs undermines self-esteem and causes waves of stress, anxiety, and alienation. In order to preserve one's identity and inner balance, it is extremely important to notice such differences in time and establish clear boundaries. This will help to preserve the integrity of your nature, Stay true to your own ideals and build relationships based on respect and sincerity. Sometimes solving such problems requires reducing or even stopping interaction with those whose views and values run counter to yours. Such a step, although difficult, becomes the key to preserving your authenticity and creating an environment where you can live without betraying your own beliefs. These actions not only protect your mental health, but also strengthen your commitment to your ideals. By setting priorities, you get rid of internal tension and open the way to building sincere and deep connections in which values unite rather than divide. Emotional exhaustion. Healthy relationships should nourish our soul, be a source of recovery and inspiration. If, instead, communication becomes a cause of fatigue, it is a clear sign that such connections hinder your personal growth and the unfolding of your inner potential. Emotional exhaustion manifests itself in a feeling of emptiness after interactions, loss of interest in previously loved things, and constant exhaustion, which harms both mental and physical condition. Marcus Aurelius instructed that one should live every day as if it were the last, with peace of mind and modesty. This Stoic principle reminds us of the need to maintain inner balance and eliminate what destroys our mental world. If a relationship systematically drains our strength, it becomes an obstacle preventing us from achieving our goals and unlocking our potential. Instead of support, such connections turn into an obstacle to self-realization. Understanding that you are in a cycle of constant emotional exhaustion is vital for maintaining inner well-being. By choosing the path of caring for our mental health, we not only protect ourselves, but also open up a space for people who inspire, appreciate us, and contribute to our development. This strengthens the desire for peace and virtue, the main components of a full life. Manipulation. Behavioral and emotional manipulation is a serious violation of the fundamental principles of honesty and sincerity on which healthy relationships are built. Manipulators hide their intentions and resort to tricks to influence the actions of others, depriving them of freedom of choice. Such behavior distorts the perception of reality and undermines a person's ability to make deliberate and informed decisions. Seneca said, "Don't let anyone control your soul. You should be the master of your actions and the world you live in, not a puppet in someone else's hands." Under the influence of manipulation, our mind becomes clouded, which prevents us from reasoning sensibly and raises doubts about our beliefs. Manipulation strikes at the dignity and authenticity of a person. To maintain internal balance, it is important to learn how to recognize such tricks and build defenses. Self-confidence and rejection of manipulative relationships allow you to regain control of your life and strengthen personal integrity. Emotional manipulation destroys not only mutual trust and respect, but also causes serious damage to the self-esteem and mental state of the victim. Therefore, it is extremely important to learn how to notice such behavior and resist it. This awareness helps to set boundaries, and in some cases, to break off relationships that are based on manipulation. Such actions are a necessary step to protect one's independence and preserve personal harmony. By getting rid of the influence of manipulation, we affirm our loyalty to the virtues of sincerity and honesty. This choice is crucial for maintaining mental clarity, protecting one's own dignity, and respect for oneself and others. In doing so, we pave the way for building relationships based on trust and true reciprocity. Lack of trust. Trust is the core on which any connections are based, personal, professional, or social. His absence undermines the foundations of interaction, creating grounds for doubt and tension. When trust collapses, people begin to live in a state of alertness, deprived of the opportunity to openly express their thoughts and feelings. Loss of trust not only prevents the creation of deep and meaningful connections, but also creates an atmosphere of uncertainty. In such circumstances, any word or action can be perceived with suspicion, which turns minor disagreements into large-scale conflicts. The atmosphere of distrust creates a vicious circle of fear and insecurity, depriving each participant of a sense of security and recognition. In addition, distrust prevents openness and vulnerability, which are essential elements for forming a genuine relationship. Only by opening our hearts and sharing our dreams, fears, and hopes can we establish a deep connection. Without this, the relationship remains superficial and formal. Seneca reminded, "The peace you are looking for is inside you. No one is able to give it from the outside." This teaching emphasizes that trust begins with an inner balance, which we must develop in ourselves. Inner peace becomes the cornerstone in creating a harmonious relationship. Realizing the lack of trust and working to restore it are necessary steps to improve ties. This may require frank conversations about doubts and insecurities. In difficult situations, you may need the help of a mediator or a specialist who will help restore balance. These efforts form the basis for a safe and respectful environment where everyone feels valued and understood. By investing time and effort in building trust, we create strong and deep relationships that can withstand the test of time. We not only restore lost connections, but also develop the ability to interact with the world sincerely and meaningfully, following the principles of virtue and inner harmony. Ill-treatment, any form of cruelty, physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, grossly violates the foundations of Stoic philosophy, which asserts the importance of respect and dignity for every human being. Such behavior destroys the basic principles of mutual understanding and virtue. The views of Stoics such as Seneca and Marcus Aurelius make it clear that engaging in abusive relationships is contrary to a life based on the principles of virtue and mental balance. The Stoics taught that peace of mind and inner harmony are the highest benefits to be sought. Liberation from abusive relationships is not only an act of self-care, but also a necessary condition for preserving one's own dignity and inner peace. This is an important step that helps not only to protect yourself from further suffering, but also to confirm your value and self-respect. Ending such a relationship can be a difficult task, especially if there is an emotional attachment or social dependence. At such moments, it is important to seek support from loved ones or qualified specialists. The decision to get out of an abusive relationship becomes the starting point on the path to healing and restoring one's dignity. This opens the way to a life based on self-respect and mutual respect, where you decide for yourself how you want to be treated and how to build your connections with others. Such a choice demonstrates our commitment to the highest ethical principles and the pursuit of well-being, which is an inalienable right of everyone. Lack of growth and mutual support. Relationships that lack development and mutual support create stagnation that hinders our personal growth and limits our contribution to the lives of others. When progress and support are lacking, we not only slow down our own development, but also deprive ourselves of the opportunity to fully unleash our abilities and realize our potential. In a harmonious relationship, growth and support serve as the most important pillars that help strengthen mutual understanding and promote personal development. Without these components, the relationship risks becoming a formal commitment or a one-sided effort devoid of depth and true mutual enrichment. Regular reflection on how our relationships are developing is key. This makes sure that relationships create an environment in which our contribution is appreciated and development and well-being are a priority. Such an analysis helps to identify the need to discuss common goals and expectations in order to adapt the interaction and make it more productive and inspiring for both sides. If there is not enough mutual support and joint growth in a relationship, it is important to think about their viability. This does not always mean a break. It often requires conscious work to change the dynamics. Such efforts can breathe new life into a stagnant relationship, turning it into a source of joy and opportunities for joint development. Sometimes it is necessary to reconsider the approach to interaction so that both sides can develop and grow. Making conscious changes in such relationships opens the way to progress, turning stagnation into an incentive for personal and joint growth. As a result, we gain the opportunity to live a more meaningful and fulfilling life, guided by our values and goals. Constant selfishness. In a healthy relationship, the balance between what we give and what we receive is important. This reflects mutual respect and the pursuit of justice. When one of the parties regularly puts its own interests above the needs of the other, it destroys the foundation of a harmonious relationship. Stoicism, which proclaims the importance of justice and emotional balance, rejects such behavior because it undermines equality and mutual understanding. Constant selfishness leads to an imbalance, making the relationship one-sided and unsupported. This disrupts the foundation of healthy relationships and prevents both participants from remaining calm and following virtue. Those who feel deprived of attention or recognition inevitably face disappointment and resentment, which over time further weakens the mutual bond. For strength and harmony in a relationship, it is important to be aware of the manifestations of selfishness and eliminate them. This requires sincere discussions of expectations and needs aimed at restoring a balance where both sides feel their importance and respect. In some cases, it may be necessary to establish clear boundaries or review the nature of interaction in order to return equality and reciprocity. Overcoming such difficulties helps to preserve the internal integrity of each participant and strengthen mutual ties. By forming a space where altruism and attention to each other prevail, we demonstrate loyalty to the Stoic principles of justice and virtue, the foundations of personal and shared prosperity. Destructive communication. Communication is the basis of any deep connections, and its style directly affects the quality of interaction. When a dialogue is filled with criticism, negativity, or destructive statements, it undermines emotional balance and disrupts harmony. Stoics, who valued harmony and stability in relationships, emphasized that the purpose of communication is to promote the well-being and growth of all involved. If the style of interaction generates tension and conflicts, this is a sure sign of the need for change. Destructive communication not only erodes trust and respect, but can also lead to emotional fatigue, frustration, and an increase in distance between people. When words become a tool of destruction instead of creation, communication loses its purpose to be a bridge to mutual understanding. Recognizing such destructive patterns and eliminating them is a step towards restoring harmony. This may include developing communication rules that exclude negativity and promote respectful dialogue. In difficult cases, contacting an intermediary or consultant may become necessary in order to change the tone of communication to a healthier and more constructive one. By promoting constructive interaction, we not only improve the quality of relationships, but also create an atmosphere where everyone feels heard, respected, and important. The transition from destructive forms of communication to creative ones strengthens mutual support and lays the foundation for strong, meaningful ties. Respect for personal needs and boundaries. Awareness and recognition of the needs and boundaries of each person forms the foundation of a harmonious and sustainable relationship. Systematic disregard of these aspects indicates a lack of respect, which can seriously undermine self-esteem and disrupt the inner peace of all participants in the interaction. From the point of view of Stoic philosophy, mutual respect is not just an act of courtesy, but the basis of virtue and inner balance. When your boundaries and needs are regularly ignored, it may indicate that such a relationship is contrary to your ethical principles and life values. As a result, you may feel invisible and unappreciated, which undermines your self-esteem and prevents you from living in harmony with yourself. Moreover, the lack of attention to your needs narrows the space for personal growth, depriving you of the opportunity to lead a life filled with meaning and authenticity. Recognizing such problems and addressing them is important for your relationship to reflect the values of respect and sincere care. To change such a situation, it requires a clear and confident statement of your expectations and needs. The establishment of clear boundaries and their observance serve to protect your dignity, creating conditions for building an atmosphere of mutual respect. If the relationship is not amenable to change, it may be worth considering ending it. Creating an environment based on honesty and respect allows you to strengthen relationships by making them more satisfying and conducive to your well-being. Lack of mutual responsibility. True partnership in a relationship is based on mutual responsibility when both sides equally share obligations. If one of the parties systematically avoids responsibility or participation in conflict resolution, this upsets the balance and causes a sense of injustice. Such behavior contradicts the Stoic ideals of justice and honesty, which inevitably undermines trust and disrupts the emotional harmony underlying a strong relationship. The Stoics argued that true virtue manifests itself in a willingness to take responsibility, especially in difficult moments. When one of the partners constantly avoids their responsibilities, they place a disproportionate burden on the other, which causes disappointment and internal protest. If this imbalance is not corrected, it will inevitably destroy the trust and respect that are the cornerstones of a healthy relationship. To overcome such difficulties, it is necessary that both sides strive to honestly assess their actions and meaningfully discuss their consequences. This includes acknowledging your own mistakes, sincerely apologizing, and being willing to make changes to prevent similar problems from happening again. Encouraging mutual responsibility strengthens the foundations of a relationship, creating a space where justice and trust can flourish. This approach makes connections more balanced and harmonious, providing each participant with an opportunity for personal growth and self-realization. Now that you have realized the value of mutual responsibility, think about how these principles can be implemented in your life. All progress begins with awareness and manifests itself through actions. Share your experiences in the comments. Your stories can inspire our community to create stronger and more respectful bonds. If you find this video useful, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep up to date with new content. Let your life be an example of harmony, perseverance, and virtue. See you in the next issues.